Tony Goldwyn is at the Nunde Historical Society in New York, where he just learned that his 3 times great-grandmother, Mary Coe, was active in the moral reform movement.
Mrs. Coe. Reminiscences of Nunde 60 years ago. In my last, I spoke of Mrs. Coe's good qualities and abilities. A few words about her as a reformer. Mrs. Coe was a radical. Wow, cool. When she came in contact with conservative persons, sometimes, to use a common expression, quote, the fire flew. Well, there you go. So even 50 years later?
60 years later.
60 years later, they're talking about her as radical.
So Mary sounds like a fiery character, doesn't she?
Yes. And in fact, one of the things I think that's most interesting about Mary and Nathaniel Coe is they clearly have a real partnership. Female moral reformers mainly use the power of petition to influence legislators. She would organize these
So she probably organized the petition here.
And then he would craft the legislation.
And he wasn't threatened by that, obviously.
He allowed his wife to organize this association in their home, to speak out, to be known as this fiery radical.
Yeah.
And so they must have really had a close bond in terms of believing that this kind of moral reform was crucial to protect our children and our community.
Right. I guess the big remaining question for me is they were real leaders in this community.
So why leave? I found out earlier that Nathaniel Coe moved to Oregon.
Right.
Do you have any idea of where I might look to try and find out more what was going on?
Let's try at finding out if there's newspaper evidence about their decision to leave Nunde.
Okay, so I have Albany Evening Journal, April 28th.
Yeah, I think the Albany Evening Journal.
1852. Glasses are going on again.
Yes.
Oh, Oregon.
Okay, Oregon.
Right, so 1852,
And that is...
Coe was already 64 years old at this point, because he was born in 1788. The following interesting letter is from Honorable N. Coe, formerly a member of Assembly from Livingston County and now U.S. mail agent in Oregon. How would you become a mail agent?
Well, postal agents were nominated by the President of the United States.
Wow.
The President of the United States in 1851 is Millard Fillmore, who is a Whig, originally from Buffalo, New York. And that would be how Nathaniel Coe would get the opportunity to go to Oregon Territory and might see it as a privilege to be nominated by the President of the United States.
So that's a very high status.
Yes.
The position of special mail agent was a crucial one in 1850s Oregon. The agent was one of the primary liaisons between the federal government and the settlers in the area. The job included scouting locations for new mail routes throughout the vast territory. This infrastructure made both communication and trade possible with the East and inspired Americans to move west. By negotiating with the Native Americans already living on the land, agents like Nathaniel Coe ensured the safe passage of the mail. But as a presidential appointment, the position ended with the president's term.
And it's also a job that would allow you to travel the territory.
Right. So you'd have an adventure.
Exactly.
It would be paid for by the U.S. government, or?
Right, and you'd get to know the territory very well.
So, again, I'm amazed that a 64-year-old man made the journey to begin with.
Did his wife Mary go too?
To discover that, you'll have to go to Oregon and talk to an expert there.
Well, thank you so much. Well, I guess I'm going to Oregon.
This was a delight.
Such a pleasure to meet
Thanks.
you. Fun to talk.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Nathaniel and Mary must have had quite an extraordinary partnership. They really were a team, which is nice to think of, you know? And I sort of see genetically where I get my taste for liking strong women, because Mary certainly was that. Nathaniel and Mary were obviously so close. I can't imagine them separating. At least I hope not. So I'm off to Portland. I'm heading to the Oregon Historical Society, where I've asked historian Lisa Wadowitz to find documents about the Coe's life after Nathaniel went to this faraway territory at 65 years old. Okay, so you win, because everybody else has like one letter or one document.
Give you this one.
Okay.
3 boxes.
That is a lot of material, wow. So this is an important family.
I think the things I found are going to be of really
Okay, cool.
great interest to you. So.
All right. Oh, look what this is. An old book. Okay, this is Mrs. M.W. Coe, Hood River, Oregon. That would be Mary Coe, right? Probably. This is a scrapbook.
Right.
This is all full of obituaries. Wow. Is that them? There's a photograph.
That's them.
Wow. I can see my grandfather's face in his. That's interesting. So this was hers, obviously. Wow, that's cool.
Well, let's move ahead.
All right. And we have some letters here. Portland, January 19th, 1853. Dear brother and sister, and 3 little girls. Could this be Mary?
Exactly. In January of 1853, she's in Portland.
Oh, so she'd gotten there by now.
Right.
So she's now writing home to report back to her brother,
Exactly.
sister, and their girls. Yes, here we are, after what I think one of the most perilous voyages on the face of the globe. Wow.